Alright, hey folks, we're back. So we're actually doing some post-commentary for this because,
As it turns out, we were completely silent during the boss fight.
not all of the fight, but, like, quite frankly, me and Cameron said next to nothing. We had, like, an off comment here or there, and it was pretty much just us rehearsing the patterns. So what I decided to do is I pretty much cut out... It was 6 attempts, by the way. Our 6
Really?
failed...
Only 6?
Yeah, it was 6 failed attempts. So I cut it down, and what you're seeing now is the attempt where we won. So like, spoilers. Yeah, this is the one where we actually do good, and this is. You can kind of see it actually with our performance in the background there that we finally figured this son of a bitch out. Full disclosure though, that took a long time for us to actually. I think it's like a full 10-minute fight. I think like most of this episode is us actually fighting the motherfucker. With a little bit at the end where it's the actual end of the game. So, like, we're recording this like actually a few days after beating it, because the two of us were, well, I know I can speak for myself, I was very sick the day we finally beat this guy.
Yeah, and like, we were super tired by the time we'd finally actually won this fight.
Yeah. You can kind of hear it in a little bit in the, like, back in the episode just before this, my illness was beginning to take hold. You can kind of hear me just coughing up a lot. In this episode, I was sniffling and coughing and choking for most of the episode. It was not great. Actually, you'll probably be able to figure it out in the which Katamari episodes it is for that very reason. I'll be very noticeably sick in those. But those are actually going to be a few weeks from when this goes up. But anyway, yeah, so, like, the boss fight took us a long time to figure out.
Well, it didn't take us that long to figure out, it just took us a
Well,
long
the patterns took a while to nail down, though. Like, how to react to them, right?
Well, honestly, it wasn't all that hard to... Like, the patterns weren't hard, it was just the reactions that were annoying.
Yeah, yeah. I do remember, actually, specifically, you had trouble with him jumping around. Because he would always move when he started his jump, so he'd just correct.
Yeah, I didn't account for the fact that he could change jump angle mid-jump.
Yeah, and like, there would be me kind of in the corner just being like, you gotta chill out, Cameron, you gotta take it slow. And...
Like, look at me, I'm always just, like, it feels wrong to me in a boss fight to not be pressing a button.
And like, meanwhile, if you look over at me playing Donkey Kong, you can see there's entire stretches where I'm just slow moving, not doing anything, just reacting as it happens instead of trying to predict this massive, blubbery individual. I do remember going over this commentary. There was like, I swear to God, there was only like maybe 2 or 3 things we actually said that wasn't just the words now or it's time. Like, most of the commentary we were doing during this boss fight was both of us being like, he's gonna do the thing.
Like, right there, actually.
Yeah.
I tried to predict the jump, and then he corrected, and I got fucked.
Got crushed. And then both of us were like, can I get the barrel? And I pulled it off. Actually, that was one of the only things we had said that wasn't, like, just us getting ready to do a jump, because it was, like, you being like, yeah, good catch, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm the best. And then, yeah. Like I said, though, like, you know what? Looking back on it, though, this was a really good boss fight.
Yeah, really well designed.
Yeah. I do like how they pretty much just let them... Oh, yeah, right. I fucked that roll up. I do remember how they just let the minions keep coming so that the players can actually, like, get health.
Oh, yeah, we just farmed this shit out.
No, I know, like... And no one will ever blame us for that. It's exactly why this boss fight is in this format, so you can just lame it out. Get the health. I think I actually did pose a question when we were playing, though, about how weird it is that a walrus has as an attack type a dedicated charge.
Yeah. Well, with the Viking helmet.
Well, like I mentioned, it's not a Viking hat. Vikings didn't have horns.
Yeah, I know. It was actually a myth started by British...
Playwrights, wasn't it?
I'm not sure if it was playwrights.
Because, like, it was in,
But the whole idea
theater.
was that... Yeah, that they had a...
I am sorry about the rapper folks.
Basically, the whole idea was that the Vikings had to have had a deal with the devil, otherwise they couldn't have been such good combatants.
I agree with that. Clearly they had to deal with someone, but I bet it was Loki.
Well, it wasn't just that. It's that the British had a very narrow view of what war was.
The British didn't like a lot of things.
Well,
We're a lot of people.
like with British war, it was like you announced your intentions to go to war in advance, plotted out a battlefield in advance with your opponent, and then met at the agreed time, at the agreed place.
That's why the American Civil War went so well. Predominantly because the Americans thought it was dumb to tell them where you're going to be and at what time. Then the fucking soldier just showed up and shot the British, and the British were like, what the fuck is this guerrilla warfare?
Pretty much. Oh, that and Benedict Arnold actually, something I learned in like middle school history. Basically, the British fleet outnumbered the American fleet by like a 6-to-1 ratio or something stupid, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, Britain was an established country and America was still colony.
Right. Anyway, so
Oh, you clutched that out good.
So what he did before trying to betray the Americans to the British was
Limey bastard.
he basically brought the fights farther and farther north until the point where they were almost to Alaska. He had very few ships left, and what the British hadn't counted on was that winter was coming, and he was just stalling them out.
Yeah.
And he essentially trapped all the British ships in Alaskan ice floes, and he just walked his ass back to the United States.
I kind of see him doing like just a cocky Jetstream Sam kind of walk back, and General Washington's standing there like sundowner, just like, you son of a bitch.
Well, what I read in the textbook was that he was completely surrounded. He had the final remaining boat of the Americas. He declared himself the victor, set his own boat on fire, rowed to shore, and started walking. And then, like,
Why would he burn the last boat?
in an attempt to light the other British boats on fire that were surrounding him.
How did that go for him?
Actually pretty well. Which is ironic because that's something the British did to the Spanish.
Oh, yeah. Wasn't there a British commander who like made landfall and then burnt his own ship so none of his men could retreat?
Yeah. He set fire to his own ship in order to burn down the ships that would pursue him, declared himself the victor, and all the British generals were like, what the fuck are you talking about? You have no ships left. And then they're like, oh no, we're all trapped in the ice.
He's gotta. You know what? On one hand, his response should have actually just been, "Who needs ships? This is a land war now."
But yeah, that was basically his job. To take what should have, by all rights, been a complete naval, like, sweep,
Yep.
and turn it into a land war.
Well, that's how you fucking do it. Actually, speaking of naval sweeps, getting real off topic here, but I mean, fuck it, that's what commentary's for, right? So there's a game that came out called Star Wars Armada. And it's a board game where you literally play like Star Destroyers and Rebel Cruisers and that kind of stuff. Imperial Star Destroyers forthcoming. So right now, due to... I don't know if you've heard about
Yeah,
this.
you
but-
said doo-doo.
Yeah. Due to... you heard about this, right? Where they have that terrible, they had that terrible strike at the dock workers and all that stuff?
Yeah, and that's why we
Yeah.
don't have amiibos.
That's why we don't have a lot of things. One of them is that the first wave of ships for Armada was supposed to be among those things we were supposed to have. So Armada is pretty much just the starter kit and nothing else. So me and TJ, we were playing a game. It was pretty much 2 starter kit Empires versus starter kit Rebels. Which turns out to be 2 of the Empire's slowest ships versus the Rebels' blockade runners.
Oh god.
So it was dance around the maypole. And that's what TJ was expecting. What he didn't expect was that I would pull off the greatest naval strategy known to man. Drove up to the middle of the table and then slammed on the brakes. Now,
Because their Star Destroyers are so massive, the inertia doesn't allow them to stop.
no, here's the fun part. See, in the game, you are in fact allowed to stop your ship and slow it down or speed it up, but you can only move up or down a speed level 1 at a time. TJ couldn't stop. I could.
Oh god.
Well, give me a minute here, I'm still a little sick. So what happens is the 2 Star Destroyers stop, and his blockade runners, who were going at max speed, had to slowly stop as they slowly slowed down into the middle of two broadsides.
Ha!
Now, I don't know how much you know about Imperial weapon design, but Star Destroyers were pretty much made with the broadside in mind. In fact, they don't actually have forward lasers. The front lasers are just the two broadsides meeting in the middle. That's why they're a triangle.
Oh my god. Oh my god, it all makes sense now.
Star Destroyers, ladies and gentlemen, are a triangle, so that you can save money by having the broadside guns also be the forward gun mount. So what proceeds to happen is incredibly fragile ships drive right into the middle of two parked ships because they couldn't actually stop fast enough, because in space there's no friction to slow you down.
Actually, I remember that was a thing in Rogue Trader too, where your ship wouldn't stop unless you stopped it.
Yeah, you have to stop it. The only way to stop a ship that big too is you have to have pretty much forward thrust engines to slowly stop it. I mean, seriously speaking, the actual idea of a dead stop in with a ship that large would fucking destroy it.
Oh god, yes.
Not to mention they have like artificial gravity in those things. Man, you know, in retrospect, this is a long ass boss fight. We're at what, like almost 12 minutes of fighting this guy. And he's almost dead, by the way, folks. Like,
Yeah, he's in his final stage, I think.
he's on his like last legs of his final stage. I left a little marker on the track for us to see when it's just about done. But
Space physics are weird. Actually, I remember. Okay, you've heard of Ender's Game, right?
yeah, I didn't watch that new movie because I actually heard it was kind of bad. But
I haven't watched it either. Honestly, I have such good memories of the book that I don't want to taint them.
yeah. I'd kind of give Marvel Comics put out an Ender's Game comic book.
Oh, I read that and that was fantastic. That was
That's
fucking
good.
amazing. Like 9 out of 10.
All right, very good to know.
I still prefer the actual book itself, but they were very good comics. But there are a lot of like additional stories.
Yeah, I could believe it, like a big universe like that.
Most of them revolving around Ender and Beam. But the whole thing with Ender was that he led a full life. Oh, this is where we discovered that one mechanic.
Yeah.
That
on
we
the
could
final
drop
boss-
faster
yeah.
on the
We
final
didn't
boss.
realize we could drop faster with the fucking barrel until the last goddamn minute.
By
of the game.
pressing the X button.
How many lives would that have actually saved?
A lot.
Exactly.
Oh my god, so many.
It's one of those things where it's like, how would we have known? They didn't tell us this.
Yeah.
Kind of
Either
like,
they did and we weren't paying attention.
yeah. Actually, there was a whole bunch of mechanics we learned just by watching the fucking demo reel at the beginning of the game.
Oh yeah, this is how we're supposed to be playing.
Like, we didn't realize that when Cranky is swimming, he just swings his cane at things and reflects them back. And we were just like, oh, that's how that works. Oh, here it is.
Yeah.
We beat him.
Yeah, and I
ya,
forgot to press
folks.
the buttons.
You know what? Whatever. We got him. It's done.
We did it!
Unless there's a... Oh, nope. He's gone.
Figuring out vital mechanics immediately before beating the game.
That's all we need.
Shit, that
Blasting off again! Squawk! That's right!
Shit, that would have been good to know day one. We figure out,
Yeah.
like, in the final round of the final boss fight.
This belongs to Donkey Kong now.
And that's how you're gonna get rid of them. What?
Okay, sure, why not?
Okay, whatever.
He plays some groovy saxophone tunes and they all just chill out, man.
And here I thought he was a drummer.
Nah, clearly he's a hippie. That's a bong.
Oh
This
my
is-
god, that would be the greatest bong ever.
Man, I'd smoke a hell of a pull out of that. Man, can you imagine how high you'd get?
Oh, there's the drums.
Man, I'm disappointed. I thought it would be the classic Donkey Kong country theme for a second. Well, we're pretty close.
Whatever. I am super happy that we finally beat this motherfucker.
Yeah, we pulled it off. It hurt. We did it. Look at that guy.
It
He's
hurt so
look at
deep.
that. Oh, you missed it. That salty walrus and the happy shark.
I don't think any of this impacted the shark's life at all.
No.
The shark was there from the beginning, he'll be there at the end, and he'll probably be there long after all the Kongs have died.
More than likely. Except those. Those Kongs died.
Yeah,
The mandrills.
mandrills,
And,
who were ninjas for some reason.
you know, those African ninjas. The kinds you never see because they're that good.
It's a good point, Jay. Asia
like-
has the worst ninjas because we're aware of them.
Yeah, I was gonna say. It's like purple orcs. You never see a purple orc. Exactly.
Oh man. Actually, I remember on Mythbusters one time they had found reportedly the best ninja in the world in order to test their arrow catching theory. And the first thing that popped into my mind was like, wait a minute. They just said your full name and you're appearing on international television. Clearly you are not the best ninja in the world.
Now, to be fair, you can know who he is. The question is whether or not you see him coming.
That's a good point, actually.
Yeah, you can know me, but if I have a sniper rifle in several hundred kilometers, does that make a difference?
Fair enough.
Hell, you can know a baseball exists. If you don't see it coming and it clocks you in the back of the head, it'll kill you.
Fair enough.
Just knowledge of something existing does not give you protection from it. It's like God. Just knowing he exists makes your life slightly worse, because now you're damned to hell. That's what the Bible says. The Bible's kind of a downer.
Actually, according to, I think it's, who are those people who knock on people's doors?
Jehovah's Witnesses.
Right. According to the Jehovah's Witnesses, you cannot go to hell if you have no knowledge of God.
Yeah.
Which leads to the question of why the fuck would they ever tell anyone?
Yeah, exactly.
What kind of dick move is that?
Well, jeez.
Like the
Way
right
to throw me under a bus, asshole.
The right thing to do would be to, like, if you're the one who found that out, you bury that. You bury that information and you never tell anyone.
Exactly.
And you just, like, burn any books that are given to you. And that way no one ever goes to hell.
You condemn yourself as the last man going to hell.
Well, if you follow the tenets of the thing.
Pretty sure God, I don't know, God seems like the kind of narcissist who would have a rule of don't burn my shit.
Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, you be the one person ever to go to hell.
Or at least the last.
Yeah.
Could have been guys before you, we don't know. Still, like, that would just put a wrench in the whole plan, wouldn't it?
Yep.
That's not how you throw fish. Did you fucking see that show? His arm was outstretched, but the fish was over his head. Also, look at those ugly bees.
Oh god, the rockets.
I love how it only had you on the back because it knows.
Yeah. It just knew.
That is a determined turtle. And a very spastic pig.
I wonder if it's showing mainly pictures of Donkey and Trixie because it knows.
Maybe. Or maybe with this smooth jazz, it's implying something.
Whatever.
He's gonna Diddy her Kong. Congo Bongo.
I don't want to find out what his banana slammer is.
Oh god.
We did it!
Yeah. What's this? It's the MacGuffin from,
What?
That ain't happening.
So what, do we have to beat this game 7 times?
How about fuck that?
I agree.
How about fuck that? I think we're done. Alright, folks. We'll see you next game.
Bye, everybody!
Man, this is gonna be a nightmare to edit. Enjoy this, future Jay, you chode. You too, buddy.